Brandi? Brand.
Oh, yes.
Brandi.
Yeah. What?
Hello, BRAINIACS. It is September. September is National Suicide Prevention Month and awareness. But aside from that, I want to apologize for just kind of being MIA. I mean, I've tried to be more active on social media a little bit. But this, life happens. There's just been a lot going on. But with that being said, with that in mind, I do want to announce that I'm studying for my last licensure exam currently, and this is my announcement of a brief hiatus, maybe for about 6 or 7 weeks until my exam has been completed, and then we'll return. I will try to be active on social media with posting pictures like I have for suicide prevention and awareness. But as far as weekly videos, that's going to die down for a bit, and then we'll come back full force. All right, announcement over. Now on to the things that a lot of people will consider taboo, like suicide. I want to share with you guys a few things. I can remember being in high school and walking into a friend's room who was in the act of trying to commit suicide. Not going to tell the whole story because it's not mine to share. However, I will say that I am very happy to say that the person is still alive. I was in the wedding a few years later and am currently the godmother to her youngest son. So, I mean, that's nothing that I did. It wasn't up to me, but I do share that to emphasize the importance of suicide prevention and intervention even. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you are intervening for someone, I'm going to share some do's and don'ts. First, the do's. Please do accept what is said. Take them seriously. Trust your gut, your intuition, your suspicions that the person is actively suicidal. Listen to them intently and help them explore their feelings. Be willing to break their confidence. That could save their life. And also help them identify resources, such as suicide hotlines, which I'll share towards the end of the video, but help them identify resources in the community. You can Google together, maybe like a counselor, or so if you find yourself intervening after an attempt, what you could do is, take them to the emergency room, and then they'll refer you to a inpatient facility that handles suicidal ideations and attempts. The don'ts. Please do not give advice such as everything's going to be okay, or what about the things that you learned in Sabbath school or Sunday school about heaven and hell. That's not the time. This is not a revival of any sorts. This is a time where you need to be there for the person. Please do not back off or delay the problem or abandon the person, because that can only exacerbate the issue. Don't be afraid to ask specifics. And what I mean by specifics, in the event that someone is just talking about suicide, don't be afraid to ask them if they have a plan, an intent, and methods. So a plan, intent, methods, basically a time, place, date. Method would be firearm, a noose, scissors, razor, something, anything. So with that being said, I want to share the National Suicide Prevention Hotline number, 1-800-273-8255. And if you are a guardian or a friend or whomever, mobile crisis units exist. My personal preference is not to call law enforcement until after you have called mobile crisis units, because if the person is not actively suicidal, the police aren't going to do much or be very helpful. It's kind of like a wellness check at that point. If they're not like bleeding out, they're not going to do much or be very helpful, because that's not what they're trained for. So a mobile crisis unit, they are trained to de-escalate and assess clinically. So they will come out and do an assessment, take them to an inpatient facility if need be, and then they would set you up with a therapist that would check in afterwards, maybe 24 to 48 hours later. And lastly, 2 quotes that I have seen under the hashtag suicide prevention or suicide awareness. There's a lot of hashtags this month. 2 quotes that I thought is really necessary to share. So the first one is, people who need help sometimes look like people who don't need help. Those are the people that are the strong friends, the class clowns, the ones that are always making jokes. And those people I'm not gonna say usually, there are genuinely happy people, but those people can go home depressed, and you never know. You never know. Just show kindness. Be kind to everybody. And the second quote is, if suicide ever crosses your mind, just know I'd rather hear your story than attend your funeral. That's kind of morbid, but it's true. I'd rather hear your story than attend your funeral. So I wanted to close out on that note and just bring awareness to the very serious issue, because we do have a lot of severely depressed or traumatized, or a lot of people have comorbidity of depression and anxiety at the same time. That is crippling. That's a lot. So no matter what a person appears to look like on the outside, there's usually something deeper going on the inside. So just show kindness, show love. If a person comes to you with their problems, please listen. Please show them that you care. Don't brush them off. I could go on, but I shall not. But I want to encourage you guys. You know how I feel about self-care and caring for others. Please take care of yourselves. We are still in a pandemic, and things are getting crazy in our world, our society. Half the world's on fire. Half the world is being flooded by other natural disasters. So as best we can, let's take care of ourselves. I love you guys, and I'll see you after the hiatus. See you, Brainiacs.